Hey, it's John and Mike, brew-news.com, and if you've ever wanted to know what an alt beer is, well, stay tuned because we're going to talk about it. Mike brewed an alt beer, and I have a few questions, but we'll get to those. But alt beer being a hybrid style, you know, sort of in that between all ales and lagers. Certainly I brewed one, love this style, malty, you know, clean, easy drinking, certainly, you know, my kind of beer. So, all right, Mike, give us the recipe, and I'm psyched to taste along while we're talking about it.
So, alt beer, meaning old. This is, you know, not an aged beer, but it refers to, in Germany, lager brewing had taken hold, and making this referred to the old way of making beer with ale yeast, right? So the basic recipe for this baby is 80% German pills, 9% aromatic malt, 9% caramunich 1 at about 35 Lovibond, and 2% Carafa Special 3 just to help with color adjustment. The hops, it was just 60 minutes, 2 ounces, 2.2% alpha acid of Hersbruker.
Hey, okay.
I don't think I've ever used that before,
Yeah,
so I had it in the fridge, and so that's what I used. And the main reason why I wanted to brew this beer is because it was time to try K97 Ale Yeast again. So from Fermentis, the light green packet. I used it before. I think I did a pale ale with it or something like that, just to see what it tasted like.
Yep.
But to actually put it to use in either a Kolsch or an alt beer, I figured I would do this. I think we have a Kolsch. We did a Kolsch not too long ago.
Yep.
So I figured alt beer. It's still cold out, little toasty, little roasty beer. So let's go for it. Mash schedule. I was going for ultimate fermentability here. So using my Brewzilla, I did 145 F for 40 minutes, and then I ramped it up to 155 for 10 and mashed out at 168 for another 10 minutes. So this was a 3-gallon batch, but I'll put the full recipe in the description below. The starting gravity on this baby was 1042, and it finished out at 1009, so that's about almost pushing 5%.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
So what are the typical yeasts that you would use for an alt beer? Because I know that I brewed one, and I actually use like the White Labs, you know,
07 or something like that?
Yeah, probably the specific one for that.
Yeah, German Ale Yeast.
Yeah, that's
usually.
it. Yeah,
everybody's got one. German Ale Yeast. So. Or like a Kolsch yeast, you know, that's really, I mean, German Ale yeast and Kolsch yeast are probably in the same vein. You know, I think there's probably some specialty Kolsch yeast out there. But to me, it's like a German red ale, brown ale that's got that Kolsch yeast character a little bit. It should be crisp, but it should be a little bit fluffy. I mean, at least that's how Kolsch comes across to me. There's something really special about what Kolsch yeast does to a beer. So, so yeah, that's the main driver there.
Yep. So I would say, you know, definitely malt forward in the aroma. I think the color is exactly where you want it to be. Kind of a light brown. Certainly, like with some
deeper
red,
amber.
some reddish highlights there. Yeah, it's that German malt that I'm getting right off the nose.
Yeah. I think the aromatic is like really bringing something to the party here.
That's right.
Because there's a lot of like roasty toastiness to this, despite not having a whole lot of that type of stuff in it. You know, so I think it's that aromatic. I haven't played with aromatic a whole lot, but just sort of made sense. It's what I had out in the grain bin, and the more I looked at it, the more you know, it just sort of made sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bit of a Munich note to the Munich malt note. That is, you know, it's similar to the Vienna lagers that I would brew, just with more ale-y esters than, you know,
and I think it's the malt intensity is the same between this and a Vienna, but this just takes, but some of the malt character is a little more intense in terms of its, that toastiness.
Yeah.
There's definitely a dark bread crust toast flavor in there. And you know what? Maybe that's a little bit out of style, but it's it's pretty tasty. On the back end though, it's pretty clean and crisp at the end. I mean, it drinks really easily.
True.
The other thing too, which I recently learned too, is that so Hersbruker 2.2% alpha acid. I mean, how do these hops even make it into the marketplace, right? But there is a nice spicy hop character there that works. What I recently learned though is that if you line up German Alt with like German Pils, Czech Pils, any of those other German beers, this is actually the most bitter of all those beers.
Huh.
It's supposed to be. So the IBUs, according to BJCP, IBUs for an alt beer are about 50, tap out at 50.
Wow.
Where like a German Pils taps out at 40.
Yeah.
Right? And the other ones fall below that. So this is actually supposed to be the most bitter of all the German beers, really, fundamentally.
Interesting.
Now, I don't think this certainly isn't 50 IBUs worth of bitterness in this beer. I like it. I like it the way it is.
No.
I wouldn't go for more, but it's interesting just to throw in 2 ounces of Hersbruker and not get, it's just, I was worried that I should throw something else in there. When I was brewing, I was like, should I put more in here?
No.
But thankfully I didn't because it works. And I think a little bit of that, the caramunich and the aromatic is also giving you a little bit of tannicness too.
Sure.
That toastiness is
yeah.
a little bit drying out the palate, so it helps. And fermenting down to about 1009 helps. What little hop character you have helps that bitterness come through because there's not as much residualness in there.
If it were too bitter, I would say like, gee, I really was hoping that it was going to be more malt forward than this, so I have those panic moments too.
Yeah.
Certainly when I brewed the Kolsch, I just had a sense that I wanted to bring more hop bitterness to it. And I did.
Yeah.
I added more than I should have. Well, at the time, I was like, well, I'm just going to add, a few more grams than it's called for here, just to see what happens.
Yep.
I don't know. I think alt beers should be malt forward. The hops is there to balance it out, and be present, but not take a leading role.
I mean, the malt intensity and the malt, the flavor profile is more intense, which is why you probably need a little more IBU.
Yeah.
But it doesn't come across as bitter as say 40 IBUs in a Pilsner.
That's true. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
On the palate.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I leaned pretty much towards a sulfate-based water here at 120 ppms of sulfate, just using gypsum, calcium sulfate. So. I think there's a little bit of minerality in here. I've been using spring water because it's so clean, so low in other mineral content. It seems to be working really well here. So, I know it's a good beer. And, I'd be lying if there's another beer in my future where I've got to understand how to get reddish color into it. So I'd be lying if there wasn't a little bit of research going on
right here.
in this beer here too.
Gee, I wonder if that's going to come our way in March or something.
Who knows?
Don't know. Anyway, nice beer. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Super drinkable.
Yeah, it's
super drinkable.
You can see where I am in this particular pour. Great. Thank you, sir. If you like this, if you have some tips on brewing alt beers, leave them in the comment below. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video. Subscribe to our channel because we do this kind of thing every single week. For John and Mike, brew-foods.com. Hey, brew on.
Cheers.